When Daniel first saw that broken-down farmhouse, most people saw rot and ruin. But he saw a chance, a small, quiet dream. After years of raising his little boy alone in the city, he wanted a place where the world felt still again. Somewhere his son, Ben, could run through tall grass instead of traffic. Somewhere they could start over. He bought it cheap, the kind of price that made you suspicious. The locals called it cursed, said nobody stayed there long. But Daniel wasn't a man who scared easy. Life had already taught him harder lessons. Losing his wife to cancer, juggling 2 jobs, and still coming home to read bedtime stories with a tired smile, he told Ben. It's not much now, but it'll be ours. And the boy, with his missing front tooth and wide eyes, grinned. It's perfect, Dad. They cleaned a bit, camped there for a night, and then had to head back to the city for work and school before renovations could begin. Daniel planned to return in 2 weeks, fix the roof, paint the walls, maybe hang a swing on the old oak tree. But when he drove back up that lonely road weeks later, something strange caught his eye. Smoke curled from the chimney. A soft light glowed in the window. Someone was inside. He froze. The farmhouse had been locked. No one should have been there. He stepped in quietly, heart pounding. Inside, the air smelled of soup and freshly baked bread. There were blankets spread neatly over the couch, and then he saw them. 2 women, a young mother and a teenage girl, sitting close to the fireplace. The girl looked frail, pale as moonlight. The mother turned, startled but not afraid. Her eyes carried that look Daniel knew too well, exhaustion mixed with quiet hope. I'm sorry, she said softly. We didn't mean to trespass. We just needed somewhere warm. Daniel should have been angry. He should have told them to leave. But the words never came. Instead, he saw the trembling hands, the old coat too thin for winter, and the way the young girl clutched her mother's arm. Are you two okay? He asked. The woman nodded weakly. We were living in our car. My daughter's been sick. We saw the house. It looked empty. I was going to leave once she got better. Silence filled the room, broken only by the crackle of fire. Daniel took a long breath and looked around at the old walls, the home he thought was waiting for him. Then he looked back at them. 2 strangers just trying to survive. Keep the fire going, he said gently. It gets cold at night. They both stared, unsure if they'd heard right. You're not angry? The mother whispered. He shook his head. This place was empty for years. If it gave you shelter when you needed it, then maybe it was meant to. That night, Daniel went into town, bought groceries, medicine, and blankets. He didn't tell anyone. He just helped. Because he knew what it was like to lose everything and still have to pretend you're okay. Over the next few weeks, as he worked on repairs, the 2 women stayed. He learned their names, Lily and her daughter Grace. Grace had leukemia. They'd been running from hospital bills and heartless landlords. Every story they told made Daniel's chest ache. Ben, his son, grew close to Grace. They played cards on the porch and watched sunsets together. It was as if the house had come alive again. Laughter echoing through rooms that once only knew silence. One evening, as the sun dipped below the fields, Lily came to Daniel with tears in her eyes. I don't know how to thank you, she said. You didn't know us, and yet you gave us a home. Daniel smiled softly. You didn't just find a home. You reminded me what home really means. Months passed. Grace's health began to improve, not because of money or miracles, but because she finally felt safe. The doctor in town even offered free checkups after hearing their story. And then came the day Daniel finally finished the renovations. The house was no longer abandoned. It was alive with light, warmth, and laughter. Standing on the porch, watching Ben and Grace chase fireflies, Daniel realized something beautiful. He hadn't just rebuilt a farmhouse. He had rebuilt faith in people, in second chances, in kindness. One evening, Lily handed him an envelope. Inside was a note that simply said, "Thank you for giving us more than shelter. You gave us hope." She was crying, and so was he. Daniel looked at the horizon and whispered to himself, maybe this old farmhouse wasn't meant to be mine alone. Maybe it was waiting for all of us. And in that quiet moment, surrounded by laughter and light, he understood kindness still matters. It doesn't just change others. It rebuilds the parts of ourselves we thought were gone forever, because sometimes the house you save ends up saving you right back.